There are two things running in your mind now. Number one, you're thinking, what's inside this? And number two, what's about this girl with a crown? Is she a pageant winner, an influencer, model, or just a showcase doll? Hold on to your thoughts. I'm going to answer all your questions. But before that, let me tell you a story, a fairy tale story with a crown and the gown. Well, I really wish if that is the fact, but that's not the fact. It was a hell. Right from my childhood, I always believed that if you're going through hell, keep going. Because everything should be okay at the end. If it is not okay, that's not the end. It's been a never ending fight for me to become the woman that I'm today. And I believe in my love for myself and for others. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you back in time to my childhood days. I was raised by a single mother. In her personal capacity, she tried to give the best of best, everything that she could, the best education, the best lifestyle, all the happiness that she can. Yes, my father was missing when I was in grade 6. He never bothered to know whether we are alive, we are dead, are we sick, are we eating food, in which grade are we studying. So eventually, it became my responsibility to step into the shoes of my father and take everything on me. I need to take care of my education. I need to take care of my brother's education, who was in grade 4 and grade 1. Livelihood, my mom, it was little too much on that little shoulder. I think I remember I was hardly 15 years, maybe when I started sensing this, responsibility of home. I, every day, wake up with a dream that I carry my little brother here and I hold my other brother's hand and I'm running. I'm running without knowing where am I running. But all that I know, there is somebody behind me who is chasing me and they're trying to kill us. Whole of my dream, I'm just running, and then I wake up. The whole situation happening in the hometown where we are born and the same home where we have our childhood memories. And sometimes I see this episode again as well. Maybe a sense to trigger the sense of responsibility for the family, probably. I kept telling myself, keep marching, keep going. I know you're going through hell, but it's okay. It has to be okay at the end. And if it is not okay, that's not the end. In spite of all this hell which is going on around me, I still proved my worth being the college topper. I got a proficiency award for highest score in the university. I was the elected chairperson. I was a student of the year and the best student of my city and the state, and lot of scholarships, and I got the title called Kala Tilakam for the best student in art and entertainment. And top of that, I was famous in my entire state through one of the hit television show as well. So I was able to balance this hell with some good thing which is happening. And very fortunately, I also got placed in a Fortune 500 company during my last semester. And at the same time, I secured rank 4 in entire Karnataka for my higher studies. Now, like my friend Sachin used to say, it's a good problem to have. Yes, it's a good problem to have. I have a rank, I need to go for higher studies. Do I need to go for that because that's the only merit seat for a non-Karnatakaite? Or should I go for this Fortune 500 highly paid job that's going to solve all my problem all at one shot? If you are in my situation, what would you choose? No answer? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I chose to do both at the same time. It's crazy, right? I took admission in the university. I also went and joined in that company. Now my day is like this. Whole day I'm in the university, attending my theory classes, practical classes, doing my research, assessments, assignments, homeworks, record words. Wow. End of the day, I get picked from the university gate to my office and I sleep 1 hour a day. I choose to sit on the last big seat of my company bus and I sleep straight over there on the road 1 hour from Mysore Road to Electronic City where my office is. And I carry my record, my books, my assessments for the next day. And if I get 5 minutes between my work, I keep doing it. I do that for my next day. It went on going like that for 3 months, 6 months, 1 semester, second semester, 1 year, and my immunity went down. I was critically hospitalized with the typhoid, 3 to 4 times of injections, and every injection I started throwing up because I was trying to be a machine, but I'm a human, or a superhuman I was trying to be, but I couldn't lose both because both were equally important in my life at that moment. Well, I still came as one of the topper of the university on that last semester of my post-graduation. Also, I got placed in one of the good, now the Fortune 500 company, and I started building my success ladder. Now it looks like a fairy tale story, right? It's amazing. That was a happy ending. Everything is okay. That is exactly what I thought as well. But there comes hell again. You know, there was a vacuum which was created in my life. A matured man figure was always missing in my life. Maybe a father figure. I never had an elder brother. I was a giver, a protector. But I never got pampered, protected, cuddled, feeling that safe feel of a matured father or elder brother, whatever that you call it as. But this could be the reason that I fell for this man who's a decade elder to me, very matured, highly intellectual, which is my first attraction point indeed, and a right plug-in in terms of technology, innovation, art, everything was right in place. But I don't know what happened. I'm still trying to find an answer for that. At one point in time, it went to a really toxic relationship. It went on like that, to the extent it came to domestic violence every other day. I did not react for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 were the intermittent kindness and the love bombarding nature, which kept me so attached to him that I thought I cannot live without him. I thought I cannot breathe without him. Number 2, since he recovered from a critical brain surgery, I was not supposed to give him any stress, tension, or pressure. So I started taking everything on me. I started focusing on building a family when there is actually no family. I left my dreams, my job, my skill, my talent, every single stuff without even knowing that I was losing myself. The only light of my life at that point was my angel. My baby is sitting here, Emirhan Qureshi. Tunu, I love you. He is my life. I realized I was going through trauma bonding. I was going through Stockholm syndrome. I was going through a reverse manipulation to feel that I am the culprit. I am the cause of everything in the home. I am the person who's creating the problem. This was the feel I started getting it in spite of confused mindset where you don't know what is right and what is wrong. When I realized it's a trauma bonding, I decided to rebuild my career. And that is exactly when I discovered something called the World Technology Expo, which was happening in my country. Well, tears flow in silence every single night. And there's this melody which echoes in my heart all the time that resonates with my feelings and that sway my soul. Sun raha hai na tu, ro rahi hu main. Sun raha hai na tu, yo ro rahi hu main. Do you listen to me? I'm crying. Don't you listen to me? Why am I crying? I used to press my face so tight to the pillow that no one could hear me crying. So drenched are those cushions, and if I squeeze, my sorrows drip down. I think, ladies and gentlemen, now it's a time to show what is inside this. But before I show what is inside, I wanted to tell you about a phone call that I received on one such night, which changed the entire perception of my life. And that call was from Dr. Muhammad Samir. He told me that people can steal your money, your car, your materialistic thing, sometimes your trust and emotions too. But people cannot steal your talent, your knowledge, your achievement, your skill, your intelligence. Look back at yourself, what you were, from where you have built your family at your tender age. Look at your career, how you have built your ladder. Look at your achievements in art and entertainment that you have achieved so far. It's a time that you go back and rebuild from where you have stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, that ignited me, that one single phone call indeed. I'm sure all of you have that spark in us, but sometimes we bury that spark because of a lot of confusions, because of a lot of environmental situations which is happening. You don't realize it. This is exactly the time that you need help. That little help to ignite your spark, in this case, Dr. Muhammad Samir's call, ignited my spark, and it turned out to be a fire to become the woman that I am today. Now, let me reveal what is here, okay? So this is a VR headset for you. But for me, this is symbol of power of intelligence. This is a crown for you all. But for me, this is a power of dignity. As Forbes defined, I was able to do the justification towards a passion as well as profession. Forbes defined me as crowned technopreneur. Tech brilliance meets beauty grace. So with this, I did a rule in my life. You remember the World Technology Expo which I was just talking a while ago? While I was standing in front of that building without even having an entrance pass, I have my friend come brother who waved me an entrance pass there, and that's the first time I'm seeing something. 3 years from there, ladies and gentlemen, I was exhibiting my innovation in technology with 3 huge robots, 3 big LEDs, and 1,000+ LEDs across the World Trade Center, displaying my videos every 3 minutes continuously for 5 days. I literally did sujood on the floor, thanking God for taking me from nowhere to somewhere. That's what it is. I also represented Middle East among 92 other countries as Mrs. Universe 2019. I brought the solidarity crown to the country. And it has its own story to say because I had to do a calculative risk here. When I went to Guangzhou, China to attend Mrs. Universe, I had no guarantee when I come back I will have a home to stay or whether I will get my child back. But I still made it because I remember my previous experience when I won Mrs. International. I was not welcomed at home with the chocolates and cakes and flowers. I was welcomed with a tight slap here, and it really hurts, not here, but here. So I still made it with this title, and it helped me to recognize my identity as well as my voice worldwide. This is the PP rule which I was talking about. Be passionate at your profession and be professional at your passion. Then you can manage both passion and profession with the same success rate. This is exactly what I did. And from my life journey and all the struggles that I have gone through, I understood the biggest problem of our life is the problem. You will try to solve one problem and there is another one waiting for you. You will put all your effort, time and energy to solve that problem. And there is another big problem with higher magnitude and gravity waiting for you, and you need to solve that problem. And that's repeating, and it's never ending. Problem comes. That means it's a never okay situation indeed, right? So problem is not the problem. Your approach towards the problem is the problem. And from my life experience, I created certain principles, and that's called 3I rule. The first one is identity. It's more about self-awakening, realizing who you are, what is this, talent and the skill that you have. Is it the right thing that you wanted to do? If this is not what you wanted to do, what are you supposed to do? And if you know what you're supposed to do, how are you going to do? This what, why, how kind of a questions help us to identify the real you, which is so very important. If you remember, in the previous scenario, that small spark which ignited, that requires a supportive ecosystem. You need people and friends around you who never judge you for what you are. And that igniting the fire is so very important. These are my brothers. I'm a universal sister for my brothers and my cousin brothers. Okay, all my brothers are here today. They have grown up so well. They are protective. They are there all around me. And that's my third asset that I wanted to show you. If you look at it, this is a forever flower. It never dies. This symbolizes my love for my family and friends. And that's my third asset of life. Let's go to the third rule, which is individualize. Individualize means you being independent. Two types of independence I'm talking about: financial independence and emotional independence. If you remember, in my case, the first step I took a financial independence. It is so very much required, especially for a woman, to keep your foot down and your heads up to be financially independent, so that you don't need to beg in front of anybody to buy 1 dirham milk for your child. Second is emotional independence. 1 in every 3 women undergoing domestic violence, but we don't realize that because we are so attached, trauma bonded. Sometimes our emotional attachment will never allow you to take the right decision. It's really take a time, or sometimes it's too late that you cannot take a time. So being an emotional independence is very, very important in your life. Now, I remember something. I wanted to dedicate that same melody which always echoes in my heart for all of you. Apne karam ki karadaye कर दे ही ना 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 सुन रहा है ना तू रो रही हूँ मैं सुन रहा है ना तू यो रो रही हूँ मैं यारा. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I wanted to thank all the man figures who came into my life because they helped me to finally find my heaven. Thank you so much.